Hello, can you guys turn your video on?
Hi, Arnav.
Hello. Hi, Sachi?
Yes.
Hi, Sachi. Hi, Morgan.
Oh,
Hi, how are you?
Mama.
so
Mama.
can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so first we're gonna do like a sort of introduction thing. And you can say your name and one thing about yourself that you want others to know. I'm Arnav, and I started playing chess 2 years ago, and I still play chess now. Who wants to go next? Okay, Sachi, can you tell me one thing about yourself?
Hi, I'm Sachi. I graduated from high school north and and I started playing chess when my dad and my brother started.
And how long ago was that?
Arnav, how long did you play chess? Before how long? Few weeks.
Oh, nice.
So like
Uh,
I'm like more like an advanced person now.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that how you pronounce your name, Alpha?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi, my
Okay,
name is.
can you tell me?
Hi, my
Okay,
name
go
is
ahead.
Elva. This is my second time doing the chess class, and I'm learning.
Now turn
Okay.
left onto Warm Springs Boulevard.
Okay, and Murugan?
Can you say, come on, say your name.
I am Harish Morgan. I love play to keyboard. I like to learn chess.
Okay, it's Harish.
Yeah, Harish Murugan.
Harish Morgan.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna review what we did last class, and since some of you weren't here last class, I can show the slides again.
Last class?
Yeah, it was last Wednesday, but it's okay. We're gonna review them, so
Okay.
we're gonna go from the start. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
No.
Like this one that says "What is chess?"
No, it's black.
Oh, let me
Oh, yeah, I can see
Oh,
now.
try again.
Yeah, I can see it.
In 5
Oh, sorry. Okay, let me do it. Share screen. Okay, it should work now. Okay, you guys can see this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, we're going to explain what chess is. Apart from the fact that it's a board game and is also considered a sport, like what are the rules of chess? Does anyone know that?
The rules?
Or like things like basic things about chess. Like you could explain like how many squares there are or
Like
design of the chessboard or anything.
there are there are like 8 pawns on each side of the chessboard, and there's total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pieces in total. Arnav?
The
Hi, Dr. Hi,
okay,
Arnav.
so the first piece, which is the pawn, is worth 1 point. So these are
Arnav, you're not sharing your screen.
oh, I think it's stopping. Okay, you guys can see this now?
Yes.
Okay, so the pawn is the most basic chess piece. It's worth 1 point, and each person starts off with 8 pawns. Now, can you tell me something about the pawns by reading what I wrote here? Sach, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. It has 8 pawns to begin with.
Correct. Okay. Can another person tell me another of the facts? How about Alva? Do you want to say one thing about the pawn that's written here?
It's 8 times.
Yeah. Okay. So the pawn is basically, it can only move one square at a time, and that in that direction it's forward. Pawns can only move diagonally forward one square if they want to capture another piece. Then, other than that one time, they always move straight until the end. Pawns have a special choice that is different from other pieces. They can move, on their first move, they have the choice to move 2 squares instead of 1 square. And this is only when the pawn is at the start of the board and on the first move. And pawns cannot move sideways. The next piece is the knight. This is worth 3 points, and each player begins with 2 knights. Can you guys tell me something about the knight by reading it here? Or from your experience? Harish, do you want to tell me something about the knight? Harish, can you tell me something about the knight that you can see here? Like it
Each player
Okay.
begins
Okay.
with 2 knights. Is it 2 knights?
Yeah. Okay. So the knight is worth 3 points, and each player has 2 knights at the start. The knight is the only piece that can jump over another piece. And basically, it moves like in an L shape. So you guys can see here the green squares. The green squares is where the knight on this board, it's where all the squares that the knight can move to. So it moves in an L shape and it can jump over pieces. So it moves 2 squares in one direction and 1 square in another, as you can see here. And by jumping over a piece, that means that if a piece is in between the knight and the green square, then the knight doesn't have to stop and can go over that piece. Do you guys know what the next piece is? That's also worth 3 points. My screen shares a bit laggy. The next piece is the bishop, which is also worth 3 points. Now, as you can see here, you also start with 2 bishops, but this time it's one on each different colored square. Bishops move like diagonally only, which means like 1 square up, 1 square right, 2 squares up, 2 squares right, and so on. And they can also move backwards and forwards. You can see the bishop, how the bishop moves is where the green squares are, and it's diagonally. Bishops cannot jump over pieces since that's only with the knight. And when a bishop starts on one color square, it travels on that color square throughout the entire game. It cannot move to a different one. The next piece is the third most important piece at the start, which is the rook, and it's worth 5 points. You also start off with 2 rooks, and the rook moves in straight lines. It moves backwards, forwards, and sideways, but it can't move diagonally or jump over pieces. The green squares here shows that the rook moves in those squares. And the second most important piece is the queen. The queen moves, it's like all the pieces except for the knight combined. You start off with 1 queen, and queen can move forwards, backwards, sideways, diagonal, and rook combined. But they can't jump over any other pieces. The queens are really important and are the second most important. And the most important piece is the king. The game is decided on how the king is. You start off with 1 king, and the king must always be on the board. It will never be removed from the board because only when it is trapped that the game is decided. The king moves only 1 square but can move in all directions. So forward, backward, sideways, and diagonally in one direction. Okay, so now that we've finished seeing the pieces, does anyone have questions on the pieces? Do you have any questions about the pieces?
No.
Okay, so now we're going to do a practice to see how we know the pieces. So basically, I'm gonna send the link in chat, and it's basically you can use what you know about the pieces to do the moves, and it's gonna. Okay, let me just send this link. Okay. So basically, once you click that link, then you'll see it will start off with the rook, and it will show you how to move the pieces, and you can practice what you saw with the slides. So can everyone click the link and do the first 6 things, which are the rook, the bishop, the queen, the king, the knight, and the pawn? Did everyone open the link? Raise your hand if you still need help figuring out how to do it. Okay, so once you're at the level with the knight, please tell me, because I need to discuss something about the pawn. So everybody can do the first.
We don't see the link. Where is the link? Okay, okay.
Adam, we're we're not starting to play the chess game yet because we're first learning like the start of it, like the piece. We're gonna play chess games, I think, in a few classes. Okay, what level is everyone on? Like in the lead chess? Which piece level are you guys on? Okay, Elva, which piece level are you on? Okay, Harish, which piece level are you on in the lead chess?
He just started. Okay.
Okay. Adam, what level are you on the lead chess?
Excuse me, where we can get to that link?
You guys see the chat, right? I put the link. I put the link in the chat.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, I can't open this.
There's no
No,
link.
we didn't see it. Oh, there you go. Okay.
So I think I accidentally sent the message to the waiting room participant.
Okay, we got it.
Sorry.
Okay. Well.
I'm on stage 1 on rock.
No me digas, ¿eh? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Sí?
¿De qué es? Chess.
No se oye.
Okay, before you guys go to pawn, there's something also special with the pawn. Apart from the 2 squares that I can go on the first move, the pawn has a special move called promotion. So when the pawn reaches the end of the board, the opposite end of the board, then it becomes any piece you want it to be, except for a king or another pawn. It cannot be a king because there can only be one king, and it cannot be another pawn because it's already a pawn. So a pawn can become a queen, bishop, rook, or knight once it reaches the end of the board. Please stop doing it once you are finished with the last pawn one. You guys can take until 4:30 or 4:30. You guys can take until 4:35 to do it. Sachi,
Yeah.
do you see the link in the chat? The
link.
Lichess one?
No, I have. Do you want me to open it on the side, the leeches?
Yeah. So we're doing that one, and once you open it, you have to do it all the way until the pawn one. It's like helps you understand how the pieces move. Like
Let me share my screen. Which one is it?
um you click learn,
Learn
click the rook.
the word.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
now you can do it. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
And just stop at the pawn, right?
After you're done with the pawn, you can stop.
So just do the work till the pawn, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, I didn't unmute.
Once you're done with it, you can let me know in chat or by just saying it. Okay, what peace level is everyone on?
I'm on the queen.
Okay. Adam, what level are you on? Oh, okay. Once you're done with pawn, you can stop. Harish, what level are you on?
We're in bishop.
Bishop.
Okay. Alpha, what level are you on?
The Rock, 1.
Okay.
Arnav,
Yeah.
I have a question. How will I know when will I get to the pond?
Okay. You see the right of your screen when it says the something. What does it say right now?
Let me share my screen.
Okay, it says the night. So once it says the pawn and you finish that, you can stop.
How will I know that? That's my question.
How you know it's the pawn or the pawn is
Yeah.
done?
Yeah.
So after you finish the night, it's just one more after that.
Oh, after the night, then it'll be the pawn.
Yeah, after the night, it's the pawn, and after you finish the one, then it's done.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay, I'll give everyone one more minute, and even if you're done or not, we're going to do the next one. So if you're not done, you can finish it later. Okay, we're moving on to the next topic. Okay, so the next topic is special moves, and there are two pieces with their own special moves, and one of them we already covered. We already covered the pawn's special move of promotion. When it reaches the other side, that it becomes another piece. So there's only two other special moves left, and that's with the king and the pawn again. So the special move with the king is called castling, and it's when your king, instead of moving one square, can move two square. During castling, the king moves 2 spaces instead of 1 to either the right or the left, while the rook, which is the closest to the king, moves to the side of the king. So you guys can see the 4 photos and the king side and the queen side. That shows the 2 types of castling, king side and queen side castling. King side is the shorter type of castling, while queen side is longer. In king side, the king moves 2 squares to the left, and the king and the rook moves 2 squares to the right. So this becomes this. For queen side, the king moves 2 squares to the left, and the rook moves 3 squares to the right. So the rook has to travel a longer distance, and it becomes this one. But there are a few rules for castling. Like if some certain rules are not met, or there are things that make castling illegal, you cannot do. For example, you cannot do the move of castling if the king or the rook has not moved. So if the king has already moved even 1 square or 1 time, then you cannot do castling ever. And if 1 rook moves, then you cannot do castling on that side. But since there are 2 rooks in the corner, if you move one of the rooks, but you don't move the other rook and you don't move the king, you can castle on that side. And you cannot castle if the king is not in check. So if the king is attacked by another piece, you cannot castle because you have to stop the check first. And you cannot castle if there are pieces in between the king or rook, because like the knight, unlike the knight, the king or rook cannot jump over pieces. And the final rule is that you cannot do castling if any of the squares between the king or the rook are under attack. So if there was a rook attacking the 3 squares between this king and this rook, then you cannot do castling because the squares which you are going to are in check. The next move, which is the final move since we already did promotion, is with the pawn, and it's called pawn. It doesn't matter how you pronounce it because I think it's French, but it is one of the most the least common to happen, and it happens when a pawn is directly next to another opponent's pawn when the pawn decides to use the en passant to move 2 squares forward, and then the opposite pawn can take the square where the pawn used to be. And that sounds complicated, but it basically is the same thing if the pawn moves 1 square. So as you can see here, the white pawn is on the starting square, and the black pawn is where if the white pawn moves 2 squares, the black pawn will be right next to it. So instead of moving 1 square, the white pawn moves 2 squares. But however, this is a special move. So the black pawn takes the square where the pawn should have been if it moved 1 square, and the white pawn disappears. So in this photo, the white pawn moves up 2 squares because it's on the starting square and can move 2 squares or 1 square. And since it moves 2 squares and there's a pawn right next to it, that pawn can take the space where the white pawn should have been. So that's the 2 special moves. Well, 3 because we already did promotion. So is there any questions about any of these? It could be a question like early on, like about the pieces, but is there any questions?
No.
Harish, do you have any questions?
No. No.
Okay, and Adam, do you have any questions? Adam, do you have any questions? Okay, so basically this is it, and what we will be doing next class is about the chessboard, how you set it up, capturing, check, and checkmate. So that is it for today. So any final questions before it's over?
No, thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Adam. Bye, Harish. Bye, Alpha.
Bye. Bye, Sashi. Bye, Adam. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.